Today, I'm delighted to be able to share with you this Rush Stern pinball machine available from Pinball Heaven, who are the UK's largest pinball distributor. What I'm going to be doing today is telling you a little bit about the machine. I've had it here for a couple of weeks, give you my initial impression of it. We'll then take a little playfield tour with the camera. I'll explain a few of the shots, and then later on in the video, we'll show you and try and demonstrate a little bit of mildly competent gameplay. This is the pro version of the game. Of course, there are, as with any Stern machine, well, unless it's a Kapow game, but let's not muddy the water here. There's a pro, there's a premium, and a limited edition version of it. This is the pro. First thing I would say about this being the pro, I quite like the pro version of this game. Mirror that with another music-themed pin from Stern, which is a Led Zeppelin. I much prefer the premium. The premium is a large step up. I feel that the pro is a really good choice for this particular machine. This theme here, I had very low expectations about this pinball machine. I think it's fair to say. The reason for that, it wasn't received with a chorus of jubilation when it was announced that Stern would produce this particular pin. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. I think firstly, it was a case of not another music pin. In my opinion, there have been too many music pins produced over the years. I think secondly, it was the choice of bands as well. They've got quite a cult following, Rush, but it's not really a band that's going to have permeated into the general public's wider consciousness in a way that maybe Led Zeppelin or certainly Guns N' Roses would have done. You don't have to be into Guns N' Roses to have heard a Guns N' Roses track. I would say that's slightly different with Rush. You're either into them or you're not. So I had zero expectations for this. I wasn't aware of any of the music. I've got to say, I found the music quite catchy. Now, I don't particularly like heavy metal, so I've not overly enjoyed Metallica and Iron Maiden and some of the other ones that are AC/DC, for instance, that have come out recently. This music's a little bit softer. It's not metal. It's classic rock. In fact, it's more similar to Led Zeppelin than it is to AC/DC or Metallica. So I've actually found myself learning the songs as I've started to play the game, and it's a pretty good sound. I quite like it. Basically, if I were to sum it up, this pinball machine has pleasantly surprised me. It really has. You may well see, I'll certainly show you later on, if not, it has the Stern Insider connected. I will not go into any detail over that now. Suffice to say, you scan your phone using a QR code and it takes you onto a pre-registered account, which will be in your name on the Stern website. And then what it will do is it will chart your progress through each and every game. It gives you rewards. It matches your scores with some of your friends who might also be signed up to Insider Connected. And what it means is anytime you see one of these QR codes on the apron of a Stern pinball machine, you take out your phone, you do the scan, and it will basically chart your progress on whatever Stern pinball machine has this facility. That's all I'll say about it for now. In terms of the game, it's got an awful lot of shots. I mean, a hell of a lot of shots. It's a copy, as I understand it, the playfield layout of X-Men. Now, I've never played X-Men, so I couldn't tell you whether that was good, bad, or indifferent, but I really, really like the shots. I really do. It's got a ton of flow, and actually, I often find with an upper flipper in the game, that's not always the best utilised. This one is really, really good. Now, if you are familiar with the warp ramp in Star Trek, the upper flipper shot on this game is very, very similar to that. But actually, there are 4 or 5 shots you can hit off the upper flipper, which brings it into play and makes it an important shot, certainly. There's masses of flow on this game. You've got the double in lanes on the right-hand side, which I think make it a little more favourable. There's a little bit of forgiveness in there for that, but please don't think that this machine isn't fraught with danger. It really is. There is a shot on here which has complete and utter jeopardy to it, and that is the right orbit shot, which I will demonstrate when we start to do the gameplay in just a moment. That is off the left flipper. That is right orbit to left, which travels through the pop bumpers in a sort of, I guess, a similar way that you might find with Congo or, of course, Iron Maiden. The trouble is if it doesn't catch one of the pop bumpers, it can go straight down the middle. Now, for the more experienced player, if you notice, you will be able to move and manipulate and nudge the machine. It doesn't have to happen, and it doesn't happen every time, but I think that makes this machine probably play a little bit better if you're a more experienced player. If you're not, then I'd certainly find recent other machines that I've had through here, such as Toy Story, Cactus Canyon, and certainly Godzilla, would be more forgiving, I believe, to the startup player. However, it's very, very rewarding. There's a shot at the back, which is the time machine shot. I guess the closest shot to that would be the ring shot in Lord of the Rings. A lot tighter. It's not an easy shot to hit. So it's a testing game, I think, on this. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let me take you on a little playfield tour now, and I'll show you all the shots individually. Let's have a little look at the machine itself. Now, I think probably the first thing to say is about the theme. It is a little bit tenuous. So the idea is to advance the time machine by 100 years. The time machine is situated up there. I'm not sure why there's a time machine. You've also got to play through 6 planets. And you have to collect records to get there. When I say records, I mean vinyl records. You can see one there. You can see another one just here. Most of the shots have a record on them, a vinyl record. Once you've collected them, you then start the mode by hitting the time machine there. As I say, it's a little bit tenuous as a theme, and I find it quite hard to gauge it, but I think over time you'd probably learn to understand it. But there are good call-outs, good instructions throughout. The artwork itself, I think, is pretty cool. Again, got a bit of criticism. I don't think that looks too bad at all. Now, again, because I'm not a fan of the band, I'm not sure how reflective that is of the original artwork, how true to the original concept. I just don't know, but I think it looks pretty good. As I mentioned earlier, this is the Pro Edition.
It appears to be a time machine.
There we go. That's unfortunately what happens when you brush the button when you're filming. There's a QR code for Stern Insider Connected, which I explained briefly earlier on. Let's have a little look at the playfield. Now, one thing I didn't mention earlier were the 2 scoops, double scoop. There's one there, and there's one there. Really interestingly, for this scoop, which will ask you to hit.
Time machine on tour.
It will ask you to hit on several occasions. Actually, if you just keep this flipper lifted up, it will often roll out of there. If it comes through the orbit, it will roll off of there and roll into this. That's pretty cool. There's some drop targets here, which you can see there, bass guitar, and there's an electric guitar, and then you've got some drumsticks. They all reveal a shot, a little. Let me just see if I can get the camera down on there underneath. Hopefully you can see there's a little shot there, a little target. If you hit there, I think that starts a multi-ball, if I remember correctly. There's quite a few multi-balls on here, largely driven by the time machine, it has to be said. The ramp I was discussing earlier, which is like the warp ramp on Star Trek Super Jackpot, it really is rewarding, and it's not that hard to hit, which is quite pleasing. The other side of the playfield, you'll see some targets there, the rush targets. If you hit all of those rush targets, it starts something called Bastille Day, which I think is a really, really good mode. And Bastille Day is actually one of the Rush songs. Yeah, it's pretty cool mode, really. As I say, there's an awful lot to like about this game. I really like how the... well, it's not been engraved, has it? I was going to say how the Rush symbol has been engraved in that metal ramp. It's actually been laser cut out. I think that's pretty neat as well. These shots up the top, which you'll see in here, they're pretty cool. There's a spinner shot there. Then there's another target on there. You can actually see, if you're going to hit off this top right flipper, there's an awful lot of shots for you to hit. I'm just looking at it here. I think you've got the scoop shot there, which you can hit. You've got this Super Jackpot ramp shot. There's another shot here, which sort of is a little mini sort of orbit, which loops around, a little inner orbit, in a loop, if you like. Then this shot here with the target. That's plenty of shots to hit off there, and that's one thing I would say about this game. There are an awful lot of shots. The shot I said that was fraught with danger, it's this orbit here. You'll basically hit the ball along here, go up, and it will orbit all the way around and come back down through here and through the pop bumpers, and sometimes it can sail cleanly straight through the middle between the flippers. Straight down the middle, as they call it. But there you go, I think pretty cool game. Let's have a quick close look at the time machine. It's a cool shot. Again, a rewarding, satisfying shot when you hit that. But there's plenty of shots. I think the best thing to do now is to show you a little bit of gameplay. So here it is, a quick game, 3-ball game of Rush. Little soft plunge is a nice one here. There you go. It's giving me 2 shots, which I didn't hit either. You saw those 2 flashing red shots to hit off the upper flipper. Really great ramp there. There's a diverter up the top, which I didn't mention earlier. Oh, that's a shame. That is a shame. That's pinball, I'm afraid. Yes, there you go. So I got the skill shot there. So I've hit the time machine. You see it sort of levitating in there. It's going to come out. There you go. Managed to hit one there. Did you see that took a different path down the ramp then? Oh my words. That's terrible. Too busy explaining it, not concentrating. Oh, I almost got a separate skill shot there. Now the reason... Oh dear. Thank goodness, got a ball safe. The time machine's not ready for the modes then, which is why it's releasing the ball from the front. When you... Oh, that's just a lovely combination of shots there. When you light the mode, when you've got the necessary records, it lights the mode, it will actually take the ball through the time machine and out the back. In the same way that the ring shot happens in the Lord of the Rings. That's a great little inner loop there, which I've just hit a couple of times. Really good flow on that. I really didn't want that to roll straight down the middle then, so that's a good one. Because I do believe the time machine is lit. But I find it much easier off the left flipper. Ah, that's the problem I was telling you about. The orbit that goes straight down the middle. Now, probably I could have manipulated the table a bit to help that. But I'm not a great player and I often forget to do it. But you'll have seen a few of the shots there. Let's play one more game because I don't feel... We've not explored much of it at all. At the start, you can actually select the different songs. They're pretty good tunes, has to be said. That's a good song. Skill shot. Oh, that's a shame. Now that should get a mystery prize then because there's question marks were flashing. Oh, I was hoping for extra ball. 2.5 million. Fantastic ramp. Oh, I shouldn't be hitting that orbit shot really. Oh my word, that was completely my fault. Terrible play. Good song though. So one more for the combo. The number 3 is flashing up the top, which I got. So I got the combos then. Now the orbit, left to right, is a lovely shot. It's right to left that scares the hell out of me. Oh, that's a shame. It's quite tight, that shot. I'm actually going for that time machine shot. There we go. So, we've gone through that. We're now into the spirit of radio. There's a mode here. And now clearly you've got all the lit shots on there. The modes are quite long on this game, it has to be said. And I'm nowhere near skillful enough to do it. But hopefully it'll give you a little overview of it. Come on, come on. I've not actually hit a single shot on the mode yet. No, still not hit a shot on the mode. Now we have. It's another mystery. Activate instruments. Not sure what that does. I would have preferred the extra ball. It's another shot on the mode. The shots are flashing blue at the moment. There you go.
I just wanted to say I love your show and I hope you play some Rush.
So ball's locked, which obviously ahead of a multi-ball. As you see, well, the ball will bounce into the scoops, sort of uninvited quite frequently. Oh dear, oh, I just managed to rescue it. And if you saw, I managed to move the machine ever so slightly, because it does want to go straight down the middle from that particular shot. Love that shot. As you can see, the mode is still going on. It's a long mode. It's second combo. You can see number 2 is flashing. Right. Oh. Extra ball's lit. Ah, I lost the ball. I mean, I kept the ball in play for quite a long time, but I still hadn't finished the mode. Hence my reasoning for saying it's an understanding of the game is going to be really beneficial here. And there's a great example of that loop going straight down the middle. Oh my words, that's a real shame. Real shame. That was absolute. Can't blame the machine for that. That was my mistake. That was a poor shot. Hopefully you saw enough in that game played there. I'm sure you'll agree. Some really, really lovely shots on there, but you definitely need to get a depth of understanding for what the game wants you to do. And there you have it. That's the Rush Pinball machine made by Stern, available from Pinball Heaven. I like it. I really do. I was pleasantly surprised by this game. It's going to take a lot of practice. The rule set is quite deep, so there's an awful lot to learn, and it's not the most intuitive of games just because that's the way that I find music-themed pins are. It's not a story that's particularly easy to follow, but if you're happy to learn the rules as you go along, or as I found it easier to do, actually go onto the Stern website and download the PDF rule sheet. It's a very good game, and it's a game with a lot of depth, a game that will keep you going for a very, very long time. And please don't forget, as with any of these modern pinball machines, you can make the rule set a lot easier for yourself. You can set it to a 5-ball game, a 6-ball game. You can make the modes easier just by popping open the coin door, accessing the menu system, which is on here, and it will ask you if you want to make the individual modes easy, medium or hard. I've left it on medium. I perhaps should have tuned it to easy. Thanks for watching.